one of the great festivals that St. Louis has every year is the Japanese Festival down at the St. Louis Botanical Gardens. It's one of the best, the biggest, the most spectacular in the country of the Japanese festivals. Bonita Harmon is joining us. She is the owner of Kimono-San of St. Louis, one of the sponsors of the St. Louis Japanese Festival at the Missouri Botanical Garden. It is this weekend, September 1st through 3rd, and she's joining us right now. Good evening, Ms. Harmon.
Good evening, Mr. J. How are you?
I am wonderful, just wonderful. This festival is one of the best in the country, isn't it?
Oh, God, yes, it is. We have people fly in from Japan to partake in it. We've got other Chicago sends delegations to us to say, hey, how do you do it? We want to do a bigger, better festival. Show us how you do it. People come from all over the country for it.
Explain what it is, if you would, Ms. Harmon, because you say, well, Japanese festival, I don't know what that means, and our listeners would love to know.
Well, it is, and I've been I'm not actually a sponsor. I'm more of a festival veteran. I've been doing Japanese festival since I was a little girl of like 13 years old.
Oh, wow, okay.
And, yeah, this is my 18th year doing it.
Well, there's nobody with better knowledge then than you.
Oh,
how's
God,
that?
No. I eat, sleep, and breathe Japanese festival. Japanese festival, it's a celebration of all the wonderful things that make Japan, Japan. We have beautiful traditional dancing, a large variety of Japanese food, some things you can only get at festivals as opposed to going out to some of the restaurants in town. We have one of the only omakoshi, one of only 5 omakoshi outside of Japan, and that is the portable shrine. And that is part of opening ceremonies. And we also have a demonstration on Sunday at 1:30. And the opening ceremonies is at 10:30 on Saturday morning. I've been a member of the Omakoshi Jin, which is the group who carry that. I've been a member of that for the past several years. I'm also known as the Garden Geisha, not a real geisha, wish I was. I don traditional kimono, the full wig, depending on the weather, you know, how hot it can get in St. Louis. Sometimes I'll even paint my face and neck white in the traditional manner, and I lead the Makoshi out for opening ceremonies. Speaking of kimono, we have, this year will be the 34th Kimono Fashion Show. That's been going on since 1983. I mean, we've had festival in St. Louis since 1977. This has been a labor of love for everybody involved. And it's also one of the best family events in St. Louis. Not only do you get to come out and see one of the top botanical gardens in the world and the largest Japanese garden in the Western Hemisphere, you get to actually learn something and make some wonderful memories with your family. And we have activities at Japanese Festival for all age groups. I've seen the people have been coming to Japanese Festival for generations. They started coming as kids. They bring their kids bring their kids.
That's fantastic.
The St. Louis Language School, because it's the St. Louis Japanese Language School, has a section just for the kids.
Now, a couple of the things that people can experience, one that I love is the calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy.
Ah, yes, the giant floor calligraphy. That's with Sirian Chiba Sensei. She's actually this year's poster girl, if you've seen any of the advertisements or media. She's a friend of mine. She's been flying in from Japan for this event and a couple other local festivals for the past 3 or 4 years now. She's actually from Fukushima, and she started coming the year after they had that massive tsunami, earthquake, and nuclear meltdown. And she's just been she's a St. Louisan at this point. We all love her.
It's so funny. In fact, as you were saying that, I just clicked on the website, and there she is, the floor painting. And, I mean, no disrespect. It's so funny how we have these different cultures. I look at what she's doing. It looks like what I would do or what's left over after I'm painting my ceiling and everything's falling on the ground. There's a very definite art to it, and it's beautiful.
Yes, it's the Japanese equivalent of cursive.
Yeah. Now, also, you mentioned the Japanese garden. That remains here year-round. Is there anything in addition to what is typically a part of the botanical gardens that makes its appearance at the Japanese festival?
Yes, and I am so glad you asked.
Thank you.
One of my absolute favorite parts of the Japanese garden, Seiwa-en, Garden of Pure Clear Harmony as we call it, is Sacred Tea House Island.
Yes.
That is only open for the 3 days of festival. And it was constructed in Nagano, which is our sister prefecture or state with Missouri. And it was a gift from them to us because we also have a sister city called Suwa. And it was then disassembled and rebuilt here in St. Louis, and it does not have a single screw or nail in it. It is all wood joining.
Oh, you're kidding. You just literally, like, piece it together with joints and little pieces that stick together, all the right size?
It's a giant puzzle box. And
that's impressive.
Yes, and it's only open for the 3 days of festival. We used to have tea ceremony in the tea house because that's what it was specifically built for. It's for the ritual of Japanese tea ceremony. But that became so very popular that we now have that in the auditorium so more people can enjoy the tea ceremony. But there are still guided walking tours of Tea House Island if you want to go. But you got to get there early because tickets for that go like hotcakes.
All right. What about music?
That's one of the wonderful things about Japanese festival. We have two wonderful drum and dance troupes. One is Osuwa Taiko, which is a local dance troupe, and they were trained by the Japanese. They came here from Osuwa and from Suwa, which is our sister city, and I know people who are just amazed with our local troupe because they have the energy of a Japanese-born and bred company. And it is just a wonderful, explosive, loud, percussive experience. You can hear it halfway through the garden in the evenings when they start their nightly performances. You don't necessarily have to get a good seat. You can, out by the Kemper Center, or if it's getting a little crowded, a little bit further back, and you can still enjoy that show.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a little bit about the food, and that's my favorite part oftentimes of these festivals. And you said there's things that you can't get anywhere but, at the festival or at Japan, I suppose. Are there food vendors from St. Louis or other places that are going to participate in the festival?
Yes, all of the vendors are from St. Louis. And we have all sorts of wonderful options. There are bento lunches with a little bit of everything in it. One of my personal favorites is takoyaki. And no, it's not Mexican, even though it sounds like it. It's actually, taco is Japanese for octopus, and the yaki it's breaded inside of a ball. It's kind of like a hush puppy, but it's Japanese, and it's a little bit sweet, and it's deep fried with a wonderful Japanese mayonnaise and soy glaze on top with a little bit of green onion. And that is, I get one of those every year. That's one of the things I wait for. It's my absolute favorite.
I got to tell you, the sauces sound great. And if I was going to eat an octopus, I'd have to have lots of sauces on it.
And you'd be surprised. It's really, really good. You could get the kids to eat it, provided you don't tell them what's in it.
That's right. Don't let them know in advance. Where do people get information? Can they just show up? Do they get tickets in advance? It sounds like a big deal, and obviously Labor Day weekend, everyone's looking for exciting things to do on their long weekend.
Well, if you're looking for tickets, you can go to the Missouri Botanical Gardens website or the front gate. I do, however, recommend you go online. Just get those ahead of time so you can avoid the line. And you can just go to the Missouri Botanical Gardens website, www.MissouriBotanicalGarden, or just click MoBot into Google.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say this, parking is free, but I highly recommend you carpool with your friends because, one, the more the merrier. Two, it fills up quick.
Right.
And if you're looking for admission for the event itself, it's $15 for adults, $7 for children, 12 and under, and garden members. and then members' children 12 and under are completely free.
Wonderful. Now, I can't let you go, Benita Harmon.